Woo! Alright, so, we just got back from watching Thor Ragnarok. And, well, let's just get to it. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-free review in the beginning, and then we're going to do a spoiler talk at the end. So if you have not seen it, just stick around for the spoiler-free, but then once we, give you guys the cue, get on out of here. But yeah, let's start it off. So the big draw of this movie is the director, Taika Waititi. And if you have no idea who he is, that's completely fine. He's a new guy, up and comer. But if you've seen Hunt for the Wilder People, you will definitely fall in love with this movie because everything about it, the writing and the actual style of it, the style is pretty much centered in like 80s like action movie, like cartoon lore. It's really poppy, a lot of colors, a lot of action, and the soundtrack also kind of really reflects this really cool like 80s synth. But the writing is what just got me here. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, no, I think what a lot of Marvel movies are missing, what this one really has, is the humor. A lot of people like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, the first one, because it's so funny. And what the draw for this for me is, a guy who normally does not like Marvel movies, it was pretty fucking funny because of that Taika Waititi direction.
Yeah, it was honestly fantastic. All the characters were written well. Every bit of dialogue was funny. But here's the weird thing. It's not actually, he's not actually credited as a writer. But you definitely see him, shine through. There's definitely scenes where you kind of get the vibe, like, it's kind of, improv, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you've ever seen, like, Flight of the Conchords, or like we said, Hunt for the Wilder People, there's this New Zealand humor that's only people are discovering now. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of deadpan.
It's deadpan. It's weird. It's like a mixture of, like, American humor and UK humor. Yeah. Whereas UK humor is more self-deprecating, and, American humor is like, like the big macho guy, talking down to people. This one, it's kind of a mix of both, where it's like, it's really, really dry. It's funny because it's really, really awkward because, the characters are like, oh, look at me. Oh, right. Recognize me.
It's like, yeah, they like kind of go to bolster something and then they realize like, okay, that's
no one gets it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why it's like, come on, guys. It's like, put two, whatever, it's fine.
So yeah, like you said, even though like if you check the IMDb, for example, he's not credited as a writer, but it's pretty obvious, having seen all of his films, that Taika either improvised or rewrote stuff as they went.
It just oozes him. And it's pretty much, if you loved his past movies, this is no different. But also, I definitely have to say this right now, it is definitely the best Thor movie. Hands down. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one, and the second one's pretty good. This one was a thrill ride from the beginning to the very end. It was funny, it was action-packed, and some of the times it was like, a lot of, explosion stuff, coming at you in the screen, like, like a Michael Bay film. But that's doing it a disjustice or injustice. It's not like that at all. It's actually fun. Everything matters. Every single set piece matters. Everything just keeps, either if it's, actually to push the plot forward, or it's just there to make you laugh. It's meant to entertain you.
Yeah, a lot of these Marvel movies have that thing where, they say this sort of quote-unquote screenwriting rule is you have to keep pushing the narrative forward. And it has that, but that's just the skeleton of it. With Taika on top of it, like we keep talking about, the humor is what keeps you interested in. Yes, the plot points push each other forward, and it's kind of standard in that Marvel-y kind of way. It's a similar formula, but it's skewed by how weird it is to hear it, like, it's almost like, who gave Taika the reins to this? Not that I'm complaining.
Okay, we're glad we got the reins.
It's just like, he has this much freedom?
Yeah, and it just shines. And not only that, but, not only just, pushing the plot forward, but also helps, flesh out the characters more. And again, from the dialogue. But it really matters how the dialogue is said. And thankfully, with the actors here, we get nothing but just A-listers. And my God, every single one is on their freaking game. I mean, from obviously, Chris Hemsworth to...
Tom Hiddleston.
To some newcomers like
Tessa Thompson, who plays a Valkyrie in this. She's amazing. Cate Blanchett as the villain.
Cate Blanchett is great. Mark Ruffalo is fantastic as a Hulk. I mean, he, out of everything beforehand, he was always the smart guy with this dark past. This movie is nothing but just funny. It's just hilarious.
But what we really want to highlight here are the sort of we'll call them the day players, the people who aren't necessarily the main characters, but they're fantastic. Number one, we got to talk about Karl Urban. Karl Urban's in this movie. I didn't expect him to be, and he's the badass we all want him to be. It's shitty that he gets underused in movies. We all know him from Dredd, which everyone loved. It's super fun, and he doesn't get used enough in this.
Yeah, and on top of that, other characters, like Rachel House, you will definitely recognize her if you've seen Hunt for the Wilder People. I like the fact there's a couple of faces from that movie that kind of show up in this movie. but she is just small role. But even with what they give her, she's fantastic. She's playing the right-hand woman to Jeff Goldblum's character, who is just Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum.
They let him get really Jeff Goldblum-y a couple times, and you're like, yeah, they didn't like pull back on him. His little like
Yeah, he was definitely just being very fidgety like how he always is. And a lot of people tend to compare me to him. I don't know whether it's the voice or the way I act, but that's a compliment. I don't know what the hell you guys doing.
It was that time you got attacked by a T-Rex, is what it is.
He didn't get attacked though. He just got hit. But whatever. Regardless, this movie is fantastic.
Wait. We forgot to add again our favorite day player, who we just keep saying. But Taika Waititi himself plays a character in this.
He tends to put himself in his movies, but unlike Quentin Tarantino, where it's a hit and miss, it's all been hits this time. Like this time, it's probably his best one.
And he plays somebody who's like not huge to the plot, but definitely like is crucial. He's not just in the background. And I guess we'll talk about it in the spoiler talk, but he's fucking hilarious as usual.
Great side character, and he's just absolutely just funny. I just love him. But yeah, regardless, like I said before, this is definitely hands down the best Thor movie that has been released, and it's mostly because of the director. The writing, all said and done, plot-wise, it's pretty standard. There's a lot of, like, kind of like twists and stuff, but like to the actual events, everything's still like the same. But all in all, this is an entertaining film, and it just hits all the check marks. Action, comedy, suspense, everything about it is just great. So yeah, that's all I can really say about spoiler free, because again, I do not want to ruin anything. So yeah, without further ado, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys just want to stop watching now, because we're going to start going straight head on in spoilers. See you guys later.
Spoilers coming in 3, 2, 1.
Spoilers. So yeah, the movie just starts off with just a really cool action set piece with Thor killing a mega god called Sulter, and pretty much it just starts off with like a huge bang, and then Odin dies, and everything just keeps going through, and out of nowhere, in a typical trilogy kind of vibe, where it's like, think of it like Scream 3, how like Jamie Kennedy's character says, forget about everything you knew about the first few movies. Here comes a Deus Ex Machina, a freaking retcon out of thin air. Odin had a firstborn daughter, and now she's coming back because he's now dead, because she was imprisoned, and she's gonna just destroy all of Asgard. Okay? Out of thin air. So again, yes, a stock story. As much as I love Cate Blanchett, she was great as the villain. She was useless in the sense that they just killed her off. That was it.
It definitely fell prey to the Marvel formula, which is standard bad guy who we don't care about, because at the end of the day, we know they're building up to their Avengers movie. So I know this person's not going to last much. We all liked Loki in the first sort of Avengers phase because he was crucial to the plot, and you knew they weren't going to kill him off, and it felt evil, and like he betrayed them and all that.
The same thing applies here with Loki, especially too, because the whole thing, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep betraying you at the last second. Oh, I'm actually a good guy. Clear as day that he takes the Tesseract. I mean, that's not even a debate. He's definitely going to offer that up to Thanos, because at the very... Sorry, I'm just going to keep again, if you're already here about spoilers, sorry.
That's on you, pal.
But yeah, the first end credits bit, the stinger, is that they run into Thanos' ship. Or just a huge ship. I actually need to, clarify that it's Thanos, but it is. But I'm pretty sure Loki's going to just double-cross everyone again. Like, oh, look it, here's the Infinity Stone, the Tesseract. Here you go, buddy. I'm your minion again. They're setting it up way too stock for Marvel.
My prediction, too, if Marvel thinks they're being clever, the other thing is he rats them out, he gives them the bad guy the Tesseract, and then then Loki's gonna have a change of heart, and he was double crossing. Either way, I feel like it feels like Tom Hiddleston's done with the series. He's great and all.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, and I definitely want to see him in more stuff.
It's almost unfortunate he couldn't get his own movie, because he feels like a full character.
But yeah, regardless, everything about the movie was still pretty amazing. I mean, again, the soundtrack was fun. And here comes a huge part. Whenever it's in the random planet, the one that's, being,
the Planet Hulk sort of.
Planet Hulk kind of area, where, it's being ruled by
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's character. That whole, every time we were there, I loved it. The style, the music, everything about that, just everything was just great. I love Thor, reacting to everything. I love the Hulk being, kind of like a big spoiled baby, just acting like, Hulk don't like me smashing. I like the fact that they kind of just brought back his character, especially because they're, a whole new plot point. that Bruce Banner's not... He's kind of losing control of the Hulk now.
No.
Because at the end of Avengers 2, he got lost.
Right.
But in this movie, even though he's going to control his powers, he's been locked as the Hulk for 2 years. So he has no recollection of it. And the only thing that actually brought him back to being Bruce Banner was seeing, of course, Black Widow's face. And I really hope they explore that more in the future. But for right now, yeah.
Yeah, that's another like problem I have. Like some of the other Marvel movies, it's like, oh, she loves Captain America. Oh, she loves Iron Man. Like it feels like jumpy.
Well, in the first Avengers, they definitely were hinting like, oh, there might be a relationship between her and Barton. But in reality, she was the godmother to her children.
Yeah, it felt just a little... I haven't felt something solid with her. She feels to me like the weakest character only because she seems like she's just there to be a love interest to other characters or be like a sensitive sort of point to the other characters.
Yeah. And
so I don't know. I think they should flesh her out because... I don't know. It didn't feel like a developed relationship. I know he likes her, but it was kind of like...
We saw none of it in Avengers 1, and Avengers 2 was kind of shoved in there.
Yeah.
Granted, I do like how both of their like pasts kind of mirror each other. They're
Right.
both monsters in like their own sense. But yeah, speaking of cameos though, I just love the fact that they brought back Doctor Strange. He in this was just kind of a throwaway character. Yeah, just a plot pusher, kind of throwaway.
Completely.
But god damn it, do I not love Benedict Cumberbatch? I mean, he gave it just the little bit of screen time he had. Just that nice little, flavor of him. It was freaking awesome. It was hilarious. I like the fact how Loki, thinks he's all badass and tries to fight him and is like, screw that, no, you're gone. But yeah, again, throwaway, not that big, but it's nice to see a fresh face. But yeah, besides that, Tessa Thompson's character.
I think she was a little underused. She felt a little plot pushy too, do you think? Like,
I mean, obviously, because after Loki, reminded her of her dreams, because at first she was like, like the drunkard and like badass, like, I don't care about my past anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just going to drink my problems away. Out of nowhere, it's like, oh, here comes the plot, Deus Ex Machina thing, like, I got to go back and save the world. It's like, yeah, again, this is where the issue kind of, rears its head. The plot is very basic. It really is.
Like, with an actress like of her caliber too, you felt like, I was like, oh, that's a little like... It feels like she's going to be part of the Marvel universe now.
Oh, definitely. She's definitely part of Asgard.
Yeah, because she's
definitely.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And she didn't even feel like a badass at all. When she fought, she kind of kicked some ass at the beginning, which was hilarious with the robot arm. But then at the end, she's supposed to be this Valkyrie, and I thought, oh, she's going to be the only one who can take on Cate Blanchett, and then she's kind of getting her ass kicked.
Well, no.
She's distracting her a little.
Well, remember though, all the Valkyries died.
Yeah.
At her hands. So
yeah.
She stand no chance against her.
That's my thing. It almost felt like her narrative didn't get, like, she went there to help destroy, and I know she did, but it didn't feel like
she was just a side character.
Yeah.
And that's literally all she felt like. Like one character that was more fleshed out, which I'm happy about, was the Hulk. And this is kind of pushing the envelope, because apparently we've been getting news and like kind of rumors and stuff saying this is the beginning of a new Hulk trilogy, which I'm happy about. And honestly, I kind of want Taika Waititi at least to direct one of those movies, because please. Holy crap, like everything about the Hulk in this was just hilarious. Speaking of which, we were talking about this in the car. There's this one scene where it's happened before, where the Hulk throws himself, or he at the last second goes, oh yeah, and the funny thing is, Cap, I'm always angry, and then he turns into the Hulk instantly.
Right.
This movie just throws it for a loop. He jumps out of a freaking spaceship, and usually, like, oh, he turned into the Hulk before he lands, or typical Hollywood thing, he misses the bridge.
Right.
No, here he lands on the bridge and dies.
It is brutal. You see, like, his legs and neck snap.
It's like it's about as ragdoll physics as you can get. He hits that thing hard, and you're like, holy shit! They just murdered the Hulk. Of course, from obviously the Avengers, you're like, oh yeah, I put a bullet in my mouth, and the other guy spit it out. It's like, yeah, he's not gonna die. But the way they set it up, he's not gonna die. That's the joke. That's why it comes off as funny. It's gruesome. It's really brutal, but it's really hilarious how he just flops on the ground. That's kind of why I'm like, we just saw one of our superheroes just die, and I couldn't stop but laughing. That's the kind of vibe that you get from a Taika Waititi movie. It's hilarious. Well, not for obviously the other movie, but regardless,
it's what we're highlighting here to me too is like with Tessa Thompson versus like that jump moment. I know that anyway, when it's like Asgardy stuff, it feels basic and generic, but when it feels like Taika has room to play, when we're at the Planet Hulk in the arena and Jeff Goldblum's acting all hurry, and when you expect the action trope for the guy to jump and land on the bridge and be a badass, and then I think that's what is going to set this apart from the rest of the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
because it's not just your generic action movie. At the end of the day, I would call this a comedy first.
Yeah, definitely. This movie is 100% a comedy. You were expecting like a crazy action-packed Avengers 3 or like a Captain America, Winter Soldier. You're not getting that. You're getting a schlocky 80s badass movie, like the kind of like a movie like the likes of like Rambo or not Terminator, but Commando. It's ridiculous, a lot of action, but you're still laughing because how ridiculous some of the characters' lines. But it's not even like just schlocky like comedy. It's like legit comedic lines. So take away the whole "you're going down, buddy," and actually like I don't like this. What's a great line from the movie? Like I'm trying to think of. There's a bunch of them. I'm trying to like think of one specific one.
I'm just thinking of the really Taika
stuff. But be gone, ghost.
Middle rocks. Yeah, nothing can break me.
Revolution. Yeah, it's something that you just couldn't think of. You didn't really get a lot of pamphlets out.
You want to start a revolution?
You want to start a revolution? Hey, we're gonna get on the ship. You wanna come along? We're gonna get here.
Dude, his little bug friend. Taika Waititi's character, what's his name? Korg, at the end of the movie, carrying around the corpse of his dead bug friend, who we introduced earlier as like, he's like, oh, he's sweet, he's got swords.
He's a really cool guy. Out of nowhere, I guess, like mid like action sequence, you kind of see something happen.
It's like a 3-second shot of him like, on the floor. You're like,
yeah, you're like, what happened to him? And then we come back to it's like, oh yeah, well, he's dead. Kind of crushed him.
He's been carrying around in the movie for at least 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then he's like, oh yeah,
I crushed him. Yeah, it was kind of
pretty bad about
between the whole thing. So I be kidding around. Oh, he's alive. Never mind. How you doing? Hey, look at him, guys. He's alive. It's like, it's just awesome. And one more cameo I want to throw in. Clear as day, the one for the man, the myth, Stan Lee. He's in this movie, and this kind of just goes to just push more of the theory that I talked about before about him being a Watcher, or just at least be employed by the Watchers. At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Mm-hmm. You already know about this, but I'm not gonna ruin the movie, but just the actual, just his cameo is that he's talking to a bunch of Watchers on the moon or some planet, and they leave him behind. I get the feeling that in this movie, he managed to find himself on this new planet, and they're asking him, "Oh, so what can you do?" I'm a UPS driver. I can do this or that. Like, we need a barber.
Can you cut
I can
hair?
do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in.
Because it looks like he can't even use his little device. He's like, fucking.
No, if you notice Thor's head, it's all hacked up.
Yeah,
it's like it's all destroyed.
Yeah, I love that it's got like lines in it.
And it's like machine, like a freaking. It's like the suicide booth.
Yeah.
From Futurama, and it's like a bunch of saws. You're like, what the hell is that?
That's gonna kill
Thor. Please don't cut my hair. Please don't cut my hair. It's like he's more scared of his life than anything.
Yeah, I think this has got to be in the top like Stan Lee cameos.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
It didn't feel as throwaway as a lot of movies. It's just like, okay, we got him in there.
Like Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I guess everyone makes certain. Stan, I love you, buddy, but Jesus Christ, man, you should have just said no to this one.
It's in my contract.
Should have just said no to that one. But yeah. Besides all that, there's a lot of references, like hardcore movie references. The two that stood out to me the most is because we were mentioning Karl Urban earlier. Karl Urban was in the movie Doom. Pretty bad movie, I get it, but not only did I get a vibe that they were kind of pushing along like, oh, he's a badass, let's get into the dread, because that's definitely what I was going like getting the vibe of. But here, he gets 2 machine guns. He starts just mowing down a bunch of the henchmen of Cate Blanchett's character, and he jumps down onto this spike and he starts shooting down like below him. And I'm like, look, I'm gonna put it up right now. The Doom box art. They replicated this, and again, he was in the movie Doom, so it was just a nice like little callback, like, hey, it's Karl Urban because he's in the movie and I love it. But again, that's not the only thing. Top of that, at the very end of the movie, we see all of Asgard's destroyed, so they get on the spaceship. And they're flying off, and of course, the captain, the king, has to sit at the main front, and it's like, where are we gonna go? And the way he sits down is not only does the chair look the same, but he sits down the exact same way, or Chris Hemsworth's character, or Thor, as he did in the Star Trek movie, the new remake by J.J. Abrams. He plays Captain Kirk's dad. And at the very beginning of the movie, again, this isn't really spoiling, this is the beginning of the fucking movie, but he ends up dying before Kirk is, born. And his last words is like, oh yeah, he sees his son, but he's like being destroyed, like, the whole ship's being destroyed, and he's just sitting there. What's with these references? They're unneeded, They're weird, but god damn it, I not love them. They were just nice little jab, jab, wink, wink. It's like, we get it. He was Captain Kirk's dad. Why? I like it, but this just goes to show how just awesome the comedy and like the kind of like the way Taika Waititi's freaking mind works.
The one like cameo thing I caught, I think comic book fans might be a little disappointed by it because it might mean that the character won't be in the Marvel Cinematic Universes. Is there's an alien Thor. His name's Beta Ray Bill. I think you guys should look him up if you don't know who he is. He's kind of got a long snout, and he's physically on the building like as one of the champions for Jeff Goldblum's kingdom.
Probably implying that he died. Maybe he retired though.
Maybe he retired, or maybe he got his ass kicked by Hulk.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see him because I was like, oh, I thought, because they're maybe hinting that the next sort of phases in the Marvel Universe, they're going to change everything. Nobody knows. But I thought they were going to go Beta Ray Bill Thor.
That'd be pretty cool.
But, yeah.
At this point, yeah, they're just throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. And, you know, I'm happy with... Here's one thing I've always been happy about. Marvel has been... As many movies they made, they haven't really made that many bad ones. They've all been pretty good. Like, that's what I love about, you know, Marvel. They've always been consistent. Movie might not be amazing, but, you know, like Doctor Strange. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't great. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, you know, they may be standard Hollywood movies, and I'm obviously not always in the mood for them, but when you watch something like the Ghost Rider movie or Punisher Warzone...
See, those don't count because those are before the whole phase.
My point is, like, those are movies where you feel like the company just said, yeah, just fucking make a movie, put the guy in it. Like, I feel like they're trying. Like, giving Taika Waititi this movie and giving the Black Panther director all that free reign. Everyone loves him from Fruitvale Station. Like, it feels like they really want to make something that their fans are going to enjoy, and it's not just throwing money at the wall. Even though they are doing that to a degree because they have that kind of money. It's fucking Disney. It really feels like they're trying.
But it's actually kind of funny, though, because you said, like, you know, it's, you know, Disney. Well, we finally get something that's actually going to change the character, at least the way he looks. Thor loses his eye in this movie, and now he looks more like his father. And it's kind of it's a little bit unnecessary of a change, but it works well to, you know, kind of give the character, you know, battle scars, to kind of flesh out the character. You know, he's going to move forward, and now he's going to have, I guess, just one eye. Hopefully they don't pull, you know, like a... I'm sorry if it's spoiling anything, but Superman coming back from the grave in Justice League. Oh, I'm sorry, did you not expect that to happen? But regardless, it's like they'll retcon it in the future. Like, oh, his eye's back. Like, what was the point of even taking his eye? It's like, you know, take these risks, change stuff, do certain things, even if it's as small as, you know, getting rid of a character's eye. Which I honestly thought he was going to get his eye back after, you know, start getting his powers back. No, his eye's gone. Yeah,
I was a little shocked. I was like, oh shit, they took his eye.
Yeah, his eye's gone.
What I think I get the feeling, again, for the future of Marvel, they're setting up him becoming... Cause he's Thor Odin's son, but eventually he becomes Odin himself. I think because that's like the rank. He becomes the Odin figure. I wonder if they're setting that up and then for future movies where he's going to sort of be a stay-at-home guardian type thing.
I feel like that might happen, or they might, you know, do the cooler thing because technically Loki is the actual son of, you know, Odin. Like they reveal that in I think was a deleted scene in part 2?
Something like that.
But then, like, they kind of like spin it like, oh, he's actually the son. Like, no, that's his lore now. It's like, keep a deleted scene, like, whatever, regardless. But yeah, I feel like that might happen, especially with, you know, this whole phase. Once this whole Marvel phase is done, I feel like this is going to be, is it. Because Robert Downey Jr. is on, you know, on his way out. He wants to quit, you know, which is understandable. You know, retire out of a character. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
And I just hope they don't reboot the series too soon. It's like, just end it. They're setting stuff up, as like I said before, they've been consistently making good movies. And when a great movie like this one comes out, it really, you know, changes stuff up, and it's kind of like, okay, cool, I'm actually excited to watch more. But eventually, you gotta know when to quit.
And I think, like, just like the comic books, you know, if you Google right now Avengers comics, you're going to see all these different characters. You're like, wait, where's this guy? Where's this guy? And it feels like on the future they have Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel coming up. And Spider-Man's just starting his career and blah, blah, blah. It feels like they're setting up new people, mentors. Mentors are going to fade away. The new people are going to become the sort of leaders. Yeah. So they seem to have some sort of plan, which I think is exciting.
Yeah. And again, thanks to movies like this, brings you right back in, and I'm excited to see what comes next. And all I really care about at the end of the freaking day is that you make sure that one of those movies in the future is directed by Taika Waititi. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Or more.
More the merrier, but I know you guys just like to, just, oh no, we're just gonna pick and choose. Like, no, give the man another movie, and specifically one with Thor, because his interpretation, or at least the way he directed this movie with Thor in it, was perfect.
And by the way, if this was a one for him, one for me sort of thing, I can't wait to see the one for him. Like,
Hells yeah.
This movie's gonna do great. Give Taika free reign to do whatever he wants. I'll watch anything. I'll watch Taika Waititi's No Country for Electric
Singing in the
Boogaloo.
Rain.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like randomly just throwing it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, final thing. There's one more stinger at the end. Lame.
Don't even stay for it.
Yeah, just leave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Jeff Goldblum walking out of the. I mean, you clearly, obviously, was spoilers.
Maybe
if
you
missed
didn't,
it.
Maybe you skipped that part. Yeah.
If you missed it,
it's
you didn't miss much.
It's him coming out of the ship.
I'm like, oh, the revolution's over. Yeah, you guys, you
All
guys
those
couldn't be able to do
cannibal
this.
guys from the beginning.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool.
I was like, oh, I stayed for that. Show that one first, and we laugh, and then show the good one.
Like, oh my God, who's that spaceship? Oh, it's Thanos. Like,
thank you. Yeah.
like, use that. Show that at the very end. I get it why they did it, because a lot of people left. I'm actually surprised how many people just bolted out of there.
I've never had that happen. Usually in a Marvel movie, everyone stays in the theater.
Granted, though, people just expect it now. It's like, oh, it'll be on YouTube by the end of the day.
It's true.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, regardless, final thoughts. Movie was entertaining. It was fun. Stock story. Characters were great. The writing was great. The directing was great. Editing was pretty damn good. Some of the cinematography was a little weird because they were like trying to be a little too flashy. But again, going for this 80s cartoon freaking action movie vibe, and my God, they knocked it out of the freaking park with that. It's fun. It's hands on the most fun I've had in a damn Marvel movie in like
a while. Yeah.
Since Guardians, probably.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, Guardians 1 specifically 1, because 2 is good, just not great. But regardless, last words.
Yeah, I had fun. Come for the Marvel, stay for the Taika comedy.
Definitely.
Yeah, good one.
But yeah, regardless, that's the video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell at the top or the bottom to make sure you get notified of my future videos, or don't. Either way, I don't really care. But thank you for watching. And also, if you guys have any extra things you want to talk about, like, go to the comment section. One last thing I want to mention: why the hell was Matt Damon here? He was playing Loki in the freaking dramatization of the last movie. What the hell?
It felt like he was playing Matt Damon too. Like
exactly.
Loki got Matt Damon.
Yeah, that's true. It feels like he honestly went to Midgar, which is our world, and he got Matt Damon. Like they didn't say no. And also, I love that Sam Neill was there.
Yes.
Yeah, Sam Neill was.
Oh, that was a great cameo too.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell with him and Rachel House? It was just fucking hilarious to see them both. But yeah, regardless, that's the video.